Okay. Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the Meon demonstration for cold applied road markings. So I suppose when we start talking about cold applied road markings, let's just dial back to what's the history? What's the history of road marking? So road marking in the UK, we established the principle of road marking in the UK over 100 years ago. And when we established that road marking, we developed thermoplastics, and we've been doing thermoplastic hot applied road marking systems in the UK for 80, 90, in some parts, 100 years. And the question today really has to be is, are we going to continue doing our road marking the same way forever? Or can we do it a different way? And what we've done, Meon, we a Portsmouth-based company. We specialize in both cold applied road marking and road repair systems. But what we've done is we've done a lot of research into other areas around, especially around Europe, where they do road marking a different way. They do road marking a new way. And especially countries like Germany, Denmark, Switzerland, Netherlands have embraced and endorsed cold applied road markings. And if you go to any of those countries, you exit the airports, drive out onto their network, and you can see a clear difference in the road markings in those countries compared to what we have typically in the UK, or what we've seen typically. And when you drill into that, that's down to using high performance cold applied road marking technology. So what we're going to be showing you today, we're actually going to be showing you 3 different machines that can all do cold applied road marking down on this mat through here. But I just want to take you back a little bit further to some of the early stages of cold applied road marking in the UK. So we're going to be working with what's called MMA, so methyl methacrylate. So methyl methacrylate requires a chemical reaction to take place in order for the road marking system to cure. So therefore we have to have a part A and a part B to react with each other to enable them to cure. That has been extremely difficult technology to crack, to make it a fast applying technology that will also enable a quick traffic time. When we first started doing MMA in the UK, it was actually with Devon County Council. They were the first adopters of trials with MMA back in 2006. And we were looking then at a 40-50 minute open to traffic time. We then got it down to a 20-minute open to traffic time, and that was coming right through into 2020. We then were pressed specifically by Devon as it happened, and they were saying to us, we need a quicker open to traffic time. No, we're just going to be doing one quick line here. We'll stop talking for a second. So when we were pressed by Devon County Council to reduce our open to traffic time from a 20-minute standpoint, we needed to do a lot of research and figure out how. Now that line that we've just sprayed there will be curing open to traffic in 2.5 minutes. So we've gone from a 40-minute open to traffic time to a 20-minute open to traffic time to a 2.5-minute open to traffic time. This machine that we've just demonstrated there, I'll come back to that in a second to explain a little bit more detail. But what we're going to be showing you today, 3 machines, all can do cold applied systems. Starting with our entry-level machine. So this is a fully electric line marking machine. So it's designed for being pushed along, pedestrian operated. It can apply as solvent-based paint, water-based paint. These are highway grade markings. We can do an MMA, but then we have to do a separate reactive bead. So what we've got coming through this machine today, though, is actually a blackout paint. So whilst we can do a lining with it, we can also black out the lines. So we're going to be coming through now in a second So this is coming back to high performance blackout paint, meets the criteria and standards for the dullness factor, but also it's designed specifically that when the paint is applied onto an existing white line that has glass beads, one of the challenges you have when you're doing blackout is you put it on top of the glass beads and the blackout system doesn't stick very well. This has been formulated and designed specifically to bond well to those glass beads on the top of a line. So we're going to be coming through in a few minutes. Ready when you are, is it? So that white line there, so we've just seen it sprayed, we can now open that to traffic. So gone are the days where we had to have that long periods of traffic management for doing MMA high performance road marking. So this machine here has many different uses. So where we see this machine used a lot is certainly for parking areas, small works, and you can use a lot in refreshing existing road markings. You can also take the gun off the side and use it for stencil and hand work, which gives it great versatility on the machine. Now we're going to come through with our fully electric, what we call RoadLiner. So this is the RoadLiner ECO. This is actually going to be doing a white line using an MMA, high performance white line. This is going to be dropping the glass beads behind the spray of the MMA. On the glass bead is a coating, and that is going to react with the MMA. Okay. Okay. Apparently it's not MMA. It can do. So just running through on what we can do with this machine. So we've actually got these machines operating in Reading Borough Council, operating down in Plymouth, operating in Redcar and Cleveland, and many other parts around the country. So with this machine, we can do a fully highway spec white lining, or we can, like we got today, we're going to have it just coming through with a paint as well, so highway grade white lining paint. We can set up with a computer on the back of the machine there to do a skip line. We can set up to do multiple other functions. But the key point with this machine being full electric with an electric line drive on the back, we can operate for a full 8-hour shift without having to recharge the batteries. So key areas where people are finding these machines of great benefit is you've got a very low noise level. So when you're using it in, especially in urban areas, etc., night works, you've got very low noise to reduce disturbance of the residents. So what we've actually sprayed through here is mentioned the highway grade paint. That is typically used, we're using that quite a bit in some of the London boroughs and on some of the, certainly in Westminster and areas like that, where they're using a highway grade paint to refresh the lining rather than bring in a thermoplastic large heavy goods vehicle. Another key benefit for some of these machines is you don't need that heavy goods vehicle to transport. You've got significant, you can see what we've got sprayed down here, a significantly thinner line. So these are going down at about 400 or 500 grams per square meter compared to a conventional road marking system, which would be going down at 2,500 grams per square meter. So in essence, 1/5 the amount of material So that's a lot less material to go to site, meaning that you need much smaller transport equipment. So really wanted to, this is kind of our inauguration, if you like. So this is the first time we've had this machine at a show, an event like this. It was only delivered to Meon 11 days ago, so it's a brand new piece of equipment. Now with this machine, I mentioned already about the need to reduce the open to traffic time. The only way we could do that, because you have a part A and a part B, so if you're going to have that going through a mixing chamber within the machine, that's very, very difficult. It's going to cure in the process. So we've actually got an external mixing system on here, whereby we've got a low pressure peroxide spray, which is spraying into the MMA spray. Then as it comes down onto the road, we then have a mixed MMA being applied directly onto the asphalt. One of the key benefits of using this machine and this technology is where we're finding with new asphalt. So new asphalt and cold applied road marking systems has been a challenge for a long period of time. However, one of the key challenges is where as the MMA or the road marking system is curing, it will draw the bitumen up through the line. You can get brown blotches. But where this material is curing so fast, we don't have that issue. So we don't have a bond issue and we don't have a bleeding issue. So we've been doing some recent work, and there's going to be a demo presentation shortly in the arena inside. We're working with Norfolk. We've done 4 schemes on the Norfolk Ring Road using this system. We've got another 2 schemes coming up in the next few weeks, whereby we can demonstrate, and we're capturing the data, etc., to see how well it lasts, what the performance is using this rapid cure MMA technology. When we're talking about high performance, typically we're going to see road markings across the UK hitting 80 to 100, possibly 150 millicandela retroreflectivity level. Using this machine and some high performance beads, we've been able to achieve up to 500 and upwards. So this is significantly moving the needle when it comes to the performance of road marking technology. If we're looking at how many meters we can apply, so we've got a large MMA tank, we've got a large bead tank, a large peroxide tank. We're currently doing work with a similar machine, same technology down in Devon, and they're doing between 8,000, 10,000 linear meters a night, traveling with an application speed of up to 7 kilometers an hour, doing consistent 150 millimeter white line. Curing time, the worst case scenario we've had at the moment was at 8 degrees, and it was curing at that temperature. It was curing in 8 minutes. So in this temperature today, we'd be curing in 2.5 minutes, but it will drop back to about 8 minutes at 8 degrees. Anything else? What have I missed? John, go for it. All right? Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to come through and do one solid line, applying the beads behind, and then we're going to come through, plug into the computer and do a skip line coming through after that. So this is a diesel powered machine, so a little 3-cylinder Kubota engine. But key point here, coming back to transport. So again, we don't have to have a heavy goods vehicle to go to site. We actually can transport this in a Mercedes-Benz transport vehicle, 5.5 ton Mercedes-Benz Sprinter. So again, it's removing the need for heavy goods vehicles going to site. So, for any of you that are not familiar with cold applied road markings, it may be difficult to take in how thin that's going down and how you can expect that to last. Typically we find certainly per millimetre that's gone down, so this material will last between 3, 4, even 5 times as long as conventional road marking systems. This has been established and proven many times across the UK in our networks, with coming back to a classic road marking trial, which is on the M5, supported by National Highways. So that was done in 2019 on the M5 between junctions 20 and 18. So on that particular trial, this was with a cold applied MMA systems. Wasn't this rapid cure, but it's using the same MMA technology. So when we're looking at the requirements for that particular trial, we had the benchmark of 150 millicandela for a retro level in the dry. Wet retro level had a target of 35. After 2 years, lane lines on the M5, we came back with a dry retro level of 230, significantly above the 150 requirement. A wet retro level of 145 compared to a requirement of 35. And what's more is some of those So while I was talking about the trial on the M5, some of those lines are still there. So they were applied in 2019 and still there in 2024. So the three key benefits that we would focus on using cold applied road markings, we call it the 3 zeros. So zero harm, we've removed the requirement for hot works. So reducing requirement of hot works on site. Part one of zero harm. Part two is making road markings more visible, certainly at night time in the wet. Second zero is called zero defects. So there's a significant reduction in early failure on white lines when using cold applied technologies, especially in high stress locations. The third zero is we're targeting a zero carbon, not quite there, but a significant reduction. Just looking at the way we transport our equipment and material to site, changing it from HGV vehicles to light commercials, we see a significant reduction in carbon emissions. Even this machine here, extremely low on carbon emissions with a very efficient 3-cylinder diesel engine. Coming back to electric machines, of course, we've got zero emissions on those machines. So zero harm, zero defect, zero carbon. Project Highway Zero. And we're looking for authorities that would be willing to do trial projects. We're currently working in Lincolnshire. We've got 6 projects to deliver in Lincolnshire. We're working in East Riding of Yorkshire. We've got 30, 40 kilometres of work to do there. Mentioned already Norfolk. Derbyshire looking to do some work there. Thurrock. London Borough of Ealing, mentioned Devon. Surrey have just called me this morning asking for a trial there. So certainly the momentum is gaining, and we're willing to talk to anyone here about the ones to engage in trials. Any questions? Good to see you, Ron. Well, I don't know what else I can say, but thank you very much for watching, and thank you for engaging. We are doing a presentation with Norfolk inside, as I mentioned earlier. All are welcome. We'll go through a little bit more detail on some of the data around cold applied road marking in that presentation.